Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-host Cody Tanner, all the way from Texas via West Virginia and Pennsylvania recently,
and Tennessee,
all over the map.
Yeah,
they're gonna call you Mr. Worldwide, buddy.
Yeah, they should. They absolutely should. I did get to go home and visit my family in Pennsylvania recently. I got to see James on last Friday at a wedding we got to go to. My flight out of San Antonio had a layover in, where was my layover on the way? Oh, Atlanta. So I was in Georgia as well. And then on the way back,
Atlanta.
On the way back, my layover was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which was my first time ever being in Florida, quote unquote.
That doesn't count.
No, not really. But then also drove from Pennsylvania to visit a young little lady in West Virginia. Picked her up, took her to Tennessee, had a nice little getaway in Tennessee. First time ever being in Tennessee. Saw a black bear for the first time in the wild. That was crazy.
Ooh.
That was a fun time. Thought I was going to die. Scary. I was in a car.
Little bear, big bear?
It was probably like 130, 140 pounds. It was decent size. But no, it was a good trip overall. Dropped her back off Sunday in West Virginia, drove back to Pennsylvania, flew back out yesterday. That's the reason we're recording on a Tuesday, not a Monday. So
yeah,
I was a little jet lagged.
Busy weekend. Yeah, busy weekend for Cody. He was still landing back in Texas yesterday when we would normally record. I was not going to ask him to record with one eye open. So we're doing it today instead so we can give you our full energy. And speaking of people giving full energy, shout out and congratulations to Noah and Kaylee Wagers getting married over the weekend. That's what brought Cody into town.
Yep.
So that was an awesome time. Not only to experience that, but probably the most fun. My wife and I decided it was the most fun wedding we've ever been to. So very cool. No offense.
For a second I was offended, James, and then I was like, you know what?
Don't be. It didn't work out, man. That's all right. No, but this I think I see long term for these two being a real high possibility.
You're talking about me and Leah? Awesome. Oh no, you're talking about Noah. You're Noah and Kaylee.
Wow. I mean, more than a week for you two. Yeah, for sure.
Kidding. Yeah. Exactly.
But while we're doing the shout outs, real quick, shout out to also listener, or should I say viewer of the podcast, Austin Gilson. Austin, I know I only got about the first 2 minutes before you turned it off, buddy. So hopefully you made it this far. If so, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Hopefully you did. And if you did, Austin, no lying. If you did, Austin, you tell James that I need to send you some of my energy drink because I'll send you a brand new pack. I know you loved it last time. You were like, he thought there was crack in it because it got him going at work. He was ready. He was flying through his day. So
he needs it on Fridays, buddy.
I'll send him a full 60 servings for free of charge if he ever hits me up for it. So. But we appreciate that. We thank you guys a lot. Again, 5-star reviews, James. We love hearing those. Again, the last one we got was from a little lady named Leah from West Virginia. We're not sure if you heard about her before. But moving on, we're going to talk Steelers stuff now. Steelers news.
Big news.
Rookie jersey numbers are announced. So now we get to know what jerseys are on sale, which ones you need to get, what numbers they're wearing. And some of them are interesting. They have meaning behind them. Some of them doing with recent unfortunate events, some of them having to do with Pittsburgh Steeler past members. So we will get into this. James, you want to go over the first one?
Yeah, let's start right from the top with our first round pick, Broderick Jones. He chose the number 77, which I think just personally for me screams success at the offensive line position, especially at offensive tackle. I have very fond memories of Marvell Smith being a very high-quality offensive tackle for Pittsburgh. Started out on the right side, then kicked over to the left, but that's not the reason he chose it, not at all.
Nope.
He chose this number because his teammate that passed in that tragic car accident during this last season at Georgia, that was his jersey number, was 77. So he chose jersey number 77 to honor his fallen teammate, which I think is really awesome, really respectable. And he couldn't get the number that he wore anyway because that was 59, and that's retired for the Steelers because that was Jack Ham. So
makes sense. We get that. We respect it.
Yeah.
Next guy on the list, Joey Porter Jr. Again, Joey Porter Jr. being the son of Joey Porter. Again, the villainous outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers from the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Even no, did he go into 2010 or was he with Miami? It doesn't matter. Anyways, it's
Yeah.
his son, and he chose number 24 in honor of, but like out of respect of, because he's still alive. Uncle Ike Taylor, the cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who played in I think both those Super Bowls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
So very cool to see him do that. So 24. This is the first 24. Who else wore 24? Running back did.
Benny Snell last
Benny
year.
Snell. Yeah.
Yeah, so Benny had that his entire 4-year rookie contract. So previous to that, we really haven't had a whole lot of good number 24s, I don't think, in history until you get back into Ike Taylor.
Yep.
So I think it's been kind of a underutilized number by key players, and I'm happy to see it. Honestly, I think it's really cool that he's honoring a guy that he refers to as Uncle Ike just because he grew up with him. Apparently, Ike Taylor and Joey Porter and a bunch of those guys are still in a group text message from that team all those years ago. Really, really neat to hear, but cool that he's honoring him. And again, couldn't get 9. That's Chris Boswell, and Boswell not interested in giving that number up. So
Don't blame him.
Moved on to 24, and I like the choice. That's a good number selection for him, especially being that Ike Taylor really, in my opinion, the best Steelers corner since Rod Woodson, unless you go since Ike Taylor, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you maybe like Joe Hayden was probably better after Ike Taylor. But
True. Fair enough. Next guy on the list is Keanu Benton, the defensive lineman. Chose number 95. I believe most recently worn by Chris Wormley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Good number. I like it on the defensive line. I think it'll look good with the Benton above it. And it's an enjoyable number. I don't have any complaints about this number. There's no reasoning or anything for this one. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the 95 being a good player again. It's been a while, man. You know, Wormley's had it for a while. And a couple of seasons ago, he had 7 sacks in one season. I think that was the best season he had in his entire life. Probably largely due to wearing 95 that year, to be honest with you.
be real, yeah.
But previous to that, we had Jarvis Jones just shaming that number for a while through his entire rookie deal. And just not a lot of pop in that number. I grew up with fond memories of Greg Lloyd wearing 95. What a fearsome pass rusher he was. He really struck hearts into his opponents.
Yeah.
Struck fear into the hearts of his opponents.
Someone I never got to see play, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was a 5th-degree black belt and only 226 pounds at outside linebacker, but also only 5% body fat. So he looked like he was probably about 255 because how jacked he was. Imagine a taller, leaner version of James Harrison, except somehow with a meaner disposition.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wild behavior.
Lloyd was a lot of fun, man. They said, avoid the Lloyd. That was the phrase back in the day.
We love that. James, you want to go over this next guy for us?
Yeah, let's talk about him, man. Darnell Washington. You guys know how excited I am about this monster of a tight end being added to the room, added as an offensive weapon. Sounds as though he requested for number 0, being that is what he wore in college and is an available option for a tight end in the NFL. The Steelers are not ready for that radical of a move quite yet.
Nope.
So he then chose the number 80, which I like. I think 80 is a really good number for him. And if you were 0, 80 is probably about as close as what you're going to get looking at the back of a jersey, you know.
Yep.
Big blocky numbers like that for a guy this big too, I think is appropriate. I wouldn't want like an 81 or even an 83 because I feel like it's almost too slimming for a guy that big. Like this is a massive individual and he needs 2 big numbers, and 80 is a big number. I really like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. The next guy on the list is the brother. We have the brother on the team already. Nick Herbig chose number 51. We do like that number for him. I don't think it's a bad number. I don't think it's a great number. I like it for him. I don't know why. I can't think of any players with 51 in my Steelers knowledge that have played well. My Steelers, like, who you got?
James Ferrier, buddy.
I'm thinking offensive line. That's fair. James Ferrier, middle linebacker.
Yeah, this is a linebacker.
Yeah. Oh my
this
gosh.
This is a linebacker.
What am I
man?
doing?
You're thinking of his brother.
I am
You're
thinking of his brother.
You didn't get enough sleep last week. I get it, man.
You have no idea.
somebody took a bite out of your sleep schedule or something, man. That's got to be what happened to you. But anyway, I really like this jersey choice for Mr. Herbig here. I think that makes it very clear that he's going to play some middle linebacker for us, and he's going to take over as the leading tackler for this defensive unit. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, guys, I just like having fun with these jersey numbers, but I have such fond memories of James Farrior being such a dominant figure for the Steelers for such a long time that it excites me to see a guy with high pedigree, with family history in the NFL, going to wear that 51. Time to bring that number back to prominence, and I think this is a guy who can do it.
Absolutely. Next guy on the list, James, Mr. Corey Trice Jr. To
Yes.
clarify,
Yes.
I don't know what names you were saying in the pregame show, but it was not Corey Trice Jr.
I'm so glad it was in the pre-recording process because I butchered it like 8 times. I just kept on saying the wrong name that has no bearing on anything at all.
No.
But what does have a bearing is number 27. How do you feel about 27, Cody?
I like 27. Why do I want to say that Mundy had that number back in the day?
Mundy. I think
the
Ryan Mundy was
safety.
29.
Okay, then you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. 27 doesn't ring any
Willie
bells
Williams,
for me.
though. Willie Williams was 27, if you remember him at corner.
Very vaguely. But the thing I like about this number is I feel like 7 is a tall number. Like when you see 7, you think of like Big Ben and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Corey Trice being the size that he is, I feel like that 27 is going to look good with him.
Was Thomas Everett 27? That's way before your time. Now I got to look it up.
Clearly.
Thomas Everett was a really good safety back in the day of like Darren Perry, if you remember the name Darren Perry. I think he played the same time as Rod Woodson.
Maybe.
But now I got to look it up because I feel like Thomas Everett might have possibly been a number 27, and that would put a good light on that number for me.
Yeah, I do
Thomas
have, while you're
Everett.
looking this up real quick, I do have bad news about that girl as well, man. The girl from West Virginia. She's a West Virginia fan.
No!
Ugh, that's tragic.
No! God, please!
Tragic.
No!
No.
No!
What about her pro team, though? I don't think you've told me what her pro team was, buddy.
Pro team, you're going to hate it.
Is she a Ravens fan? Oh, God.
Ravens and Seahawks.
Oh, I don't feel so good about this anymore, buddy.
I know. We're not in Kansas anymore.
Ravens and Seahawks?
I don't know, man. She's a weird one. The Ravens was. I forgot her reasoning why the Ravens.
Is she like a Carolina Predators fan too? Because
Ah.
I feel like there's just some bad choices
There's
going on
some
here.
bad choices there. I will say this. I will say this, James. We just need to have a friend in this group, me and you. We need to find one more friend who's a Steelers fan who is dating
Yes.
or gets married to someone who is a Bengals fan, because now you're married to the Browns fan. One day I'm going to
Correct.
be married to the Ravens fan. Calling it right now. She can deal with it.
Wow.
And then one
Wow.
day, that's okay. I don't care.
And Noah just married a Cowboys fan.
Noah just married a Cowboys fan, so we're just racking them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyways,
Hey man, love is love. I don't care what their favorite team is, man. When it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So
she does look good in purple. So
there you go, buddy.
you know what I'm saying. All right. Anyways,
Let's get back in
That
focus here. We're gonna talk about
sounded
Spencer Anderson.
so much worse than it was. She had purple in her hair at one point, and it looked actually pretty good. I'll show you
Yeah,
pictures
sure.
afterwards.
It was the hair
Oh my
that you were
gosh.
talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Spencer Anderson, the 7th
I
round
apologize
pick.
if her parents listen to this
Offensive-
episode. There's nothing going. I genuinely talking about her hair.
Spencer Anderson, the 7th round pick offensive lineman. I have no clue what number he wore in college. I'm going to be honest with you, but he chose 74. I typically think a defensive lineman when I think of 74. I think that was Chris Hoke, wasn't it? Or no, was Chris
Yes.
Hoke 76?
No, it was no.
Hokey was 76, wasn't he?
Yes.
I don't remember. Yeah, he
Yes.
was 76. For some reason, I think 74 is defense, though. I don't know. He's going to be a backup offensive lineman, best case scenario anyway, so I'm not
Was-
real worried about him.
Was 45 Knicks and Chris Mumatu Walafala?
Fuamatu Ma'afala, yes.
Fuamatu.
No.
Okay, I was just curious. Trying to remember that. But yeah, 74 looks good for him in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll work.
It'll
It'll work.
yeah. If it doesn't, we'll
Yeah,
just
you can
forget
take-
about it.
Well, and he can take 53 after the preseason's over if he wants, because it's going to be available.
That's true. That's true. There's always that. So that's going to finish up the rookie jersey numbers. We are going to talk real quick about Joe Marino and Kyle Krabs, who are the NFL draft guys, the NFL draft wizards, the guys that just rank drafts, rank players, do all this stuff. Both of them chose the Pittsburgh Steelers, our Pittsburgh Steelers, not the Browns, not the Ravens, not the Cowboys. Our females can suck it up this time, as the Pittsburgh Steelers were chosen as the best NFL draft this year.
And that's just the facts.
That was
folks.
aggressive. I apologize.
Don't
shouldn't.
Don't ever apologize for being right. but real talk though, Joe and Kyle run a really awesome podcast. I enjoy listening to it and get a lot of information from them on the upcoming draft prospects. That's what they do. They call themselves the Draft Dudes. They do a podcast together. Highly entertaining guys, but they do it for a living. Literally just talk prospects 24/7.
Yeah, we just do it for fun. So
yeah, they'll be moving on to the next class very soon here after wrapping up everybody's draft classes. So I definitely suggest them if it's something that you're interested in learning more about draft prospects. But also before the NFL draft, they did a show that I didn't listen to until after, to be honest with you. But it was their projection of the guys that would go in the top 100 of the NFL draft this year. And inside that top 100, they had each of our top, 5 selections: Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, Darnell Washington, and Nick Herbig, all in their top 100. And then until 24 hours before they finalized their list, they also had Corey Trice. So that would have been 6 of the 7 guys that we selected in this year's draft class inside their top 100 of best players available. And again, they didn't know about whatever medical people were concerned about with Corey Trice.
Which 3 of these guys were chosen after. 4 of these guys were chosen after. No, 3. 4. 4 were chosen after.
Keanu Benton was 93.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, 4 of those guys chosen after 100.
Nick Herbig was like 132 for crying out loud. That was way after 100. So extreme value there. And most people had Corey Trice as like a late 3rd round or early 4th, possibly even as early as a late 2nd round pick. So to get him in the 7th really seems like an incredible steal. His tape's good.
Yeah.
His tape's good. His size is good. His athleticism is good. His length is good. Strength is good. Jumps are good. Like, he comes up and hits the running backs. He comes up and blows up wide receiver screens.
Yep.
The guy can cover. He's got interceptions on his tape. It's like, wow, man. Also, while I'm on this topic about college statistics, if you see any posts out there, there's a lot of slander going on out there on Joey Porter Jr. right now. People are quoting the first game of last year's college season and put a post together saying that the guy that Joey Porter Jr. went against week 1 had 12 catches for 120-some yards and a touchdown. And he was targeted 14 times in that game. That means Joey Porter gave up? No, it doesn't. Joey Porter Jr. broke up 6 passes in that game. He didn't go against just Charlie Jones all game long. Charlie Jones moves around like most wide receivers. So when you see statistics like this, because people are doing this to slander, they're specifically targeting Joey Porter Jr., which is crazy to me because he was targeted 30 times last season and had 11 pass breakups. Only allowed 14 completions on 30 targets. 14 completions on an entire season. Teams stopped throwing his way because of how many pass breakups he had. When you get 6 pass breakups in week 1... people notice. And by the way, our new 2 corners both played head-to-head week 1 last year in college.
Exactly. Cool. Well, listen, here's the thing. People forget, when you're doing a good job, they're going to move around. When you're doing a good job, it's like riding a bull. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're doing a good job, they're going to take you away from the main guy that's guarding you. They're going to move you around. They're going to make it harder for you to, keep up the good work, all that stuff.
And Penn State is static with their corners. They don't move them around, kind of like Pittsburgh. You got the right corner and the left corner. They don't follow whoever the best guy is. Wherever he lines up is where he lines up. The defender's going to be in that spot.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just the people that created that post don't really understand football. So It's easy to dispute it. It's easy to disprove their false accusations. But I just want to put that out there for any of you that might be frustrated or confused by seeing any of those false posts out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't always like to look at the tape. Every now and then you got to look at something different.
Yeah, people hate looking at the tape because then it proves their theories wrong.
It's how it goes. Former 4th round pick, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Former
yes,
fourth
former
round
fourth
pick.
round pick.
XFL player Hakeem Butler, wide receiver who's 6'5", 230, and fast. Keyword here, fast. Was brought in to be on the Steelers roster, at least heading into training camp.
Tryout player.
Yeah, tryout player. We'll see what happens here. A lot of potential for this guy. 6'5", 230. If he can run even remotely as fast as he did in his pre-draft combine and all that stuff, pre-draft workouts, he could be a game changer. This is a guy that could come in and be the 5th or 6th guy on the team. He could very easily rival Miles Boykin and be another
That's
gunner.
it.
You know?
That's my big thing with this is that we got to look realistically. Hey, he's already been in the NFL and already washed out. Why did he wash out? Because he couldn't get separation in the NFL. But he was a 4.47 guy, and he really excelled in the XFL. That doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to be great in the NFL, but I bet you he looks good in the preseason because he's going to be going against number 5 and number 6 corners.
And if he's
assuming he gets the invite to be on the 90-man roster and makes it through to the preseason. So this is just a tryout player for this weekend's upcoming rookie mini camp. He's going to get a chance to try out along with a bunch of other players, but we wanted to make sure we talked about him because he is a former 4th round pick with 4.47 speed that's as big as Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
So it's an important thing to talk about, and he just came off a 6-touchdown season in the XFL.
Yeah,
that's good.
And here's my thing: if he struggled to create separation in the NFL, more than likely it was a scheme thing. It was a very much he's probably not the best route runner. He's tall, he's quick, but he probably can't route run very well, and that's fine. All you have to do is scheme him to be in open areas, scheme him into open plays. This is a guy that you can easily bring in off the bench, put him in the slot, and make him run an out route with a slant over top of it, and you're gonna have a wide open first down or touchdown if it's in the pylon. Like, this is very easily just somebody. It's like having a quicker tight end on the field. That's all that's really is.
Yeah.
And so I think Pittsburgh, and hopefully with Matt Canada's offense, can utilize a guy like this if he winds up making the 53, the active roster, very easily utilize a guy like this inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line, and create some mismatches that way. So.
And I'm really excited to see, like you said, on special teams. Let's give this guy a chance to be a gunner and see what happens.
100%.
If he can avoid that jam, if he can avoid getting stuck at the line of scrimmage and get downfield, a guy that big could be an incredible weapon as a gunner on special teams. And probably just on the opposite side as a jammer as well. Imagine a guy his size keeping the gunner from going down the field. So he might be a real weapon there on the punt coverage and the punt return team. And I'd like to see him on both. Hopefully he gets the opportunity to run both those positions this preseason. So another name coming out here, we've got an offensive tackle coming from the Birmingham team, I believe, if I remember right. Birmingham Brahmas or something. Anyway, he's an offensive tackle, Chidi Okiki.
Okiki from the
It's a great name. I like it.
Birmingham Brahmas.
I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
He sounds like
San
a
Antonio.
baller.
No, San Antonio Brahmas. That's what it was. That was the
San
Heinz Ward team.
Antonio.
Yeah, that was Heinz's team. Yep. So again, offensive tackle. There's not a lot of them on the roster right now, so he'll get an opportunity if he goes to the 90, which he would have a good chance, I would think, of getting to the 90, just because they don't have enough offensive tackles right now to get through camp.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. This is somebody to compete with LaRaven Clark for that number 4 position.
100%. 100%. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. Short episode. We didn't have a whole lot to talk about. Moving forward, we do have rookie minicamp starting up this upcoming weekend. And then we're also going to be talking next week about the schedule because the NFL schedule will be announced this upcoming Thursday. So just 2 short days from now. And then moving forward, the next 3 episodes, we are going to be covering the AFC North division rivals. So the Bengals, Browns, and Ravens. We're going to cover their draft recaps as well. So the Ratbirds, yeah.
You said it wrong. It's Ratbirds.
Sorry, Ratbirds, the Bungholes, and the Poopy Squad.
Wow, really throwing it out there with this vile language.
Oh.
The vile language.
Sorry, guys, for the X-rated podcast this week.
You better go wash your mouth out with some zest.
I probably should.
It needs to be zestfully clean after
Probably should.
what you've done.
Exactly.
Recently.
Anyways, we can't thank you guys enough for listening, for watching. Whether it's the first 2 minutes, Austin, of the show, or whether it's the whole thing, we appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this journey of ours. We're on year 3 now, the Steelers by the Lake podcast. And we are just year 4. My apologies.
I think it's 4 now, man.
We're old, James. Anyways, we can't thank you guys enough. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe and ring the bell. Give us those 5-star reviews and love us because James and I are both here awkward. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.